The next one is focused on the hats. So just using the hats and the fact that you can take them further apart from each other or bring them closer to each other to alter the dynamics and the sound of the hats. This is a really, really cool way of altering the dynamics of a groove or of a full, even just tampering with the dynamics. It's obviously a really mechanical thing, the hats. It really gives you the ability to have a wide range of sounds that you can extract, just all depending on how far the cymbals are from each other. A cool way of kind of building the sound is just to open them up a little bit, and you can even go as far as to just like let them be really far from each other to get that really washy, trashy sound. I think the best way to illustrate this is just to play, and I'll start with like a really tight closed hi-hat groove, and I'll slowly build up towards like a more trashy, washy kind of full vibe, and it alters the dynamics beautifully. You'll hear it's like a really nice progression. It gives you a lot of options. I think you can even insert more steps if you want to, because it's not built on steps. It's completely linear. So you have total control over how far they are from each other, the two cymbals I mean. So you can really create a really dynamic feel and such natural builds into choruses or out of choruses with just the hats, because it gives you a ton of freedom with regards to dynamics. Another really cool thing that you can do is if you want like a really powerful driving sound, especially with regards to maybe like a rock song, you can just play less notes on the hats. So open it up wide, get that really washy sound, but instead of sticking to the groove, you can just go, like you can just dig into it with less notes. That's what this will sound like. It sounds like a different thing altogether. It sounds like you're moving to a different part of the kit, but it's just the hats. And I just love the contrast in playing like a really washy hat sound, like just like digging into it and closing it up and going back to the really tight little eighth note feel. It's just one part of the kit that you can use in so many different ways. Something else that you can try, like I said with the snare drum, kind of applying the same technique, is just to hit it on different places and with different parts of the stick. So it'll sound differently if you hit it with the actual stick itself on the edge, and if you hit it like with the tip of the stick. And it'll sound differently if you hit it with like the flat edge of the stick, or if you hit it on the bell. There are just so many options. I think I'll just demo that quickly and kind of see how many sounds I can extract just from the hats. Remember, the reason why we're doing this is to enhance our dynamic capability. So if you're playing a groove or a fill and you want to give it a different dynamic feel, then you already know that it'll sound this way when I hit it this way and I open it this way. It just broadens your palette of available sounds and samples so much more. So I'll just try to demo that for you, just using the hats, the snare drum and the bass drum. Now I just want to focus on one of the things that I did play in the part about the hi-hat, and that's what I call a hi-hat bark. You kind of hit the hats at the same time that you're opening them, and then you close them really quickly afterwards. Just so that you know what I'm talking about, this is what the hi-hat bark sounds like. It's got a totally different sound. It kind of sticks out immediately because it's not using the dynamics explicitly like just like a closed head sound or like an open head sound. It's kind of in the middle. It's like a really distinct sound, and you can use this in such cool ways around the kit to build dynamics, even as like a little sound in between grooves, in between fills. It just pops out at you. It's a really distinctive little sound. I'll just try to use that within grooves just to kind of give you an idea of how I would use this to kind of alter the dynamics of a groove. When I started playing these kind of hi-hat barks, it was really hard for me to nail the timing because you really need to hit the stick at the right time and open them at the right time. Like, it isn't going to sound right if you play like this. Like, if the timing is just off, it doesn't sound right. Or if you hit it way after you open it or something ridiculous, it's just really hard to nail the timing. For me, it was really a struggle to nail the timing. I think it's really important to practice that if you want to get it nice and tight. Another thing to be aware of is that the length that you keep the hats open also determines the dynamics of this kind of sound. So you can have like a really long if you want to, or it can be like a really short like a nice little burst. That's also something to keep in mind. The length of the note determines the dynamics. And I think a cool way that you can practice this, that both the timing of hitting it at the right time to get the right sound, and also the length of a note, is to kind of play that fill that I did when I was just jamming around the kit, the one that sounded like this. So kind of switching between the two hands and trying to see if you can get that timing perfect. You can actually also then shorten the notes to make it a little bit more difficult for yourself. It sounds like this. And now I'll just play it slower so you can see exactly what this fill looks like and what the pattern is like between the snare drum and the hats and the bass drum. What makes it a little bit more difficult is the fact that the kick is exactly on the open hi-hat bark sound. So it's kind of like you're hitting a crash or a splash. So it really gives it a lot more power. So playing that same pattern slowly sounds like this. And then another thing that you can do is just to keep the hats open for a little bit longer, so kind of to extend the hi-hat bark sound. And I'll just play it slow again, but so that you can see what this will sound like. So all of those things determine the dynamics of that sound. So you can mess around with it. Like I said, it's kind of a linear thing. There are no specific stops. You can just do whatever feels right to you on this kind of linear graph dynamically, just to feel what feels good within a groove or within a fill. I think it's just important to be aware of the fact that this is a really dynamic part of the kit and you can use it in really dynamic ways.